and good morning. Happy self-love, self-care, sensual Sunday. It is your host, Kim. Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Love Witch podcast. Today's a special episode because we're talking about how to use our sensuality to manifest. And I want to go pretty deep with you guys today because it's something that I've been doing within my life. It's a big change, a big shift that I've had in my life, prioritizing my bliss, prioritizing my pleasure. And I have been on this journey, I want to say since about April, I want to say is when it started. So that is about 9 months. And it has been the most beautiful, life-changing, eye-opening, soul awakening period of my life. So I was like, let me really tap in and really talk about this because it's definitely been something that has truly opened my mind and my essence to my true power as a woman and my true power within my feminine. And it's been, to say the least, it's been extremely empowering and extremely what word can I use? Orgasmic. I feel like my life is orgasmic every single day. I feel like I've been waking up and just understanding always, despite what's going on, that I do the arts and crafts around here. This is my life. I do the arts and crafts around here. I add in and I take away whatever I want. I need to always remain in that power and always know that my life will always be a complete product of whatever choices that I make in my day-to-day. So I always kind of want to make my days as beautiful as possible. I feel like I live by the quote or the mantra of leave beauty and bring beauty every place that you dwell. So any place that I go, I make sure to leave a little razzle dazzle, a little sparkle, a little fairy dust. And I also want to make sure that things and places and people that are around me do the same. And I feel like that's been keeping me away from the energies that don't align with me or with the way I want to feel within my life, right? So without further ado, let me go into it because okay, so using our sensuality to manifest, right? So if you tuned into one of the previous episodes within the Soft Girl Era series, I was talking about why we shouldn't fear our sensuality. I feel like that's a big basis. If you haven't checked that out, please go check that episode out. And I really just break down just my experience with becoming okay with my sensual being and just being okay with the sensuality that I naturally ooze and being okay with how it's seen publicly, but then also being okay within myself that I, have access to that energy and how to use it without feeling guilty or without feeling ashamed of it. Right? So today, with today's episode talking about how to use it to manifest, I'm really breaking down what I like to call the pleasure principle. It's really something that I just created upon my note taking here. I live by the pleasure principle, which is basically with my life, I like to make everything based around my pleasure and appeasing my senses. I am a bit of a hedonist, but I feel like I am one that is in tune with reality still. I believe that everyone should base their life around their pleasure. I feel like more people would be happy. I feel like more people would be at ease and at peace with themselves. I feel like too many people are doing things that don't make them happy, that don't bring them pleasure, and that is why there's so much hate and there's so much anger within people, right? But with me, I always like to preface with the fact that I don't believe that sensuality just has to do with sex. I feel like sensuality has to deal with your senses and just being in tune with your body and being in tune with the present and being in tune with the divine and being in ecstasy and living an orgasmic life, just in bliss with your existence, in bliss with your senses in bliss with just enjoying the simple divine gifts that we naturally have, right? So I like to think of my sensuality and just adopting that pleasure principle. The importance of it, I like to think of it, is because when you're in a constant state of arousal or pleasure, it allows for a flow to happen, right? So like when our wombs are stimulated, what happens? We flow, right? We flow, we get wet, and it's ready for action, right? But it creates a flow that kind of allows for something to come inside. You guys are following me, right? A flow creates ease for something to come in, right? So I like for us to think about our life that way. If we're in a constant state of arousal, a constant state of being at bliss and in bliss with ourselves, completely in love with our existence, completely in love with just completely aroused by life and the possibility, just knowing that life is always wanting to give to us. If we're constantly aroused, we're creating that consistent flow to happen, right? We're allowing access for life to give to us, for us to receive, right? And within our feminine energy, because we are very receptive beings, I feel like it's always important for us to always make sure we are within that state of allowing flow to come in, right? And so when we create more flow, we remove that block, which is resisting the joy, the pleasure, and the bliss. It's removing that block, which is allowing for manifestation to happen quicker. I don't know if you guys have ever picked up on this, but have you noticed when you're happier and you're not worrying and you're just present, things just align? Kind of when you let things go, when you're not being stagnant in your energy, when you're not being stagnant in your thought process, when you're being present-minded, when you release control is when things just seem to fall in line. Have you guys ever noticed that? Within life, I have noticed that so many times, especially last year. I was really noticing how when I just let things go, how quickly things just came in. Besides when I was legit restricting and holding on for dear life. And if you really think about that, when you do that with anything, when you're just like really on something like that, when it comes to kids, when it comes to people, when it comes to situations, do you realize those things never work out? They never work out. They kind of always go left because of nothing in nature is meant to be controlled, Nothing is meant to be controlled whatsoever. It's just against nature. It's against nature. Nature itself flows with the seasons. Nature itself obeys the cycle of life. So I feel like we are no different, and we really need to start treating our lives this way. And this is why I'm so keen on us just really tapping into nature and just accepting the natural ways of life, because there's so much wisdom if you just observe nature and you kind of just understand that if you just observe trees, they have time periods where they're sprouting fruit, they have time periods where they don't have anything, and that's okay. They're in a period of stillness, but you don't see them trying to hang on to dead leaves. They let them go, because if they do that, that doesn't do anything for them. They have to release that control to receive what they're meant to receive, which, the springtime, they bloom once again. And I feel like we kind of really need to adopt that way of living, because it does allow for just so much flow. And I really feel like it goes hand in hand with our health. And I do feel like a lot of illness comes from just a lot of emotional stagnation in the body. I believe emotion is energy in motion. And I believe if you do not know how to move the emotions through your body or through your vessel, through your essence, if you don't know how to not control your emotions, but if you don't know how to identify them and how to use them for your healing and for your benefit, if you don't know how to get them in motion and get them and transmute them and alchemize them properly, if you don't know how to adopt that pleasure principle, I think it's when a lot of people become angry and resentful and bitter and not at peace with themselves, inevitably. So I'm really adopting this principle in my life now, and I plan to keep it for the rest of my life, because I feel like it's it's a cheat code, really. I feel like this is really a cheat code to life, to be quite honest with you. And when we remove those blockages, when we allow that flow to come in, when we're in the constant state of arousal and prioritizing our bliss and our joy, not only does it allow for a greater flow of manifesting what you're wanting to come into your life, it also removes blockages within the aura, which is a huge component of manifesting and just being able to tune in to one's own energy, tune into the energies around you. When you're confused, when your energy is going 10 different ways, when you're not centered, when your energy is not your own, because you're kind of just giving it to and fro without intention, there's no way you can really manifest. And even if you do, it's going to be like off a little bit. Kind of like, I want to think of an example. Think of like just trying to shoot a ball in a basket. And then, either way, no matter which way you plan to shoot this ball, whether it's to the right, to the left, in the middle, either way, you're still aiming for that basket. You could very well make it. But think of just like the aura blockages as like the wind. The wind can really determine where that ball is going to go for real. You can have an aim, but even if it goes in, it can go in different ways. And sometimes the ways it goes in is not really the way that you want it to go. I do feel like blockages create that issue when you can tend to manifest, but it's not quite what you're wanting, or you feel like you weren't specific enough. Things like that. But using our sensuality and being in that state of arousal and bliss, I think kind of keeps us centered and just prioritizing our happiness, which inevitably I feel like is our natural state of being, truly. I just feel like it keeps us centered within our being as well when you prioritize your sensuality with things like this, right? So not only, I want to talk about the senses when it comes to this, right? I want to kind of break down the pleasure principle a little bit more because, of course, aside from self-pleasure, I feel like that's a given. I feel like that brings you in your body. I feel like that goes beyond just an orgasm. I feel like that goes into being in tune with your body. I feel like that comes into being in tune with your energy. I feel like that comes with being in touch with that energy when you're about to climax, that energy that you feel before you're about to climax, that arousal, that energy there. When you feel that energy, I really want you to realize how it feels, right? When you're about to climax. And I want you to make sure when you're living your life or whatever you're doing on a day-to-day basis, you're doing things with that energy in mind, or you're making sure that whatever you do kind of is adding to that or heightening that feeling. Remember what that feeling feels like, so that when you're out about and you're living, you're doing things, you're making decisions, it's around that feeling, because I feel like that keeps that flow in your life. I hope I'm not sounding confusing, but it's just something I've really kind of noticed. It's like just a real cheat code, right? So, and also I want to identify self-pleasure is not only in the bed, it's also in life, right? So I want to talk about the senses and, things like touch, smell, sight, hearing, taste. I wanted to just give a few examples within our daily life of sensuality and how to make your life centered around your pleasure. Just little ways, just little tips. Some examples that can be used to kind of create that consistent state of pleasure within your home, within your life, any spaces that you dwell. I feel like can really help with this process, right? So when it comes to touch, I always think about fabric. So I like silky, soft, lovely fabrics. That's my preference. I always say figure out what works for you. Those things make me feel sexy. They make me feel royal. They make me feel exquisite. I feel like a flower. Things like massages that you can give yourself, but also get from other people. Think about the clothing that you put against your skin. Have moments where you just prioritize touch. And despite what anyone says, I know people have different love languages and things, but everyone likes touch to some degree, right? Whether there's a blockage there, or whether there is, just whatever reason that you have for it, I always say kind of explore that with yourself. Like, I like to take flowers and just run them against my shoulder or wherever, do that for yourself, because I feel like it keeps you centered in your body. I feel like being centered in your body is a huge thing. Just in general, stay present, stay within your body. Sometimes I feel like we get out of our bodies a lot when it comes to things that are occurring around us. We kind of don't really recall what's happening with us and things like that, because we're so consumed with other energies. We're so focused outside of ourselves, to the point where we kind of lose touch with ourselves. So I always try to touch myself, kind of just remember that I am within my body, The next sense I want to talk about is smell. So I would go for things like, of course, good aromas, aphrodisiac smells, sensual smells. I like smells like amber, vanilla, myrrh, musk, roses, jasmine flowers. Scents that make you feel sensual. I always say you can go to every person in the world and ask them what smells sexy, or what smells really heighten their sense of smell. But those are different amongst people. People have different pheromones. People have different smells that they like. People have different body chemistries. People just have different likes. So don't take things that I'm saying and be like, oh, yeah. But definitely try it if you haven't, because those smells are divine. And just even with perfumes you choose for yourself, choose those perfumes based off of how they make you feel, not off of how you feel other people will feel. I feel like to choose the perfect perfume, you have to choose one that when you sniff it, it puts you in a state of kind of arousal a little bit, because you want something that goes good with your body chemistry as well. So pay attention to that as well. But because different smells do smell different on different people. But of course we know that. Right? So the next sense is sight. So I always say, make it your business to create a good ambiance, a sensual ambiance for yourself. This is if you're doing any ritual work. This is if you're doing or having any quiet time with yourself. Make that time beautiful. I mean, set the ambiance, babe. Get the lighting right. Your room, your house. Get that house decked out. It's literally envision your home as your palace. Okay? When you walk into a palace, into a queen's room, what do you see? You see all these beautiful things. You see, just in essence, it has a natural essence of pleasure and relaxation and elegance, right? Whatever makes you feel those ways is how your room and how your house should look. It should embody those feelings, because this is your sacred, safe space, And we need to be really intentional with that, because it should embody that and make you feel that whenever you walk into your space. For me, that place is my room. My room is completely centered around the ambiance of softness. Oh my God, just elegance, royalty, just sensuality and good smells, good ambiance, good lighting. I love the lighting of a pink Himalayan salt lamp. I like pink hues. I like darker colors in my room. So really figure out what makes you feel just sexy and just in that energy of consistent relaxation, releasing control, surrendering, and just feeling within yourself, The next thing is hearing. So of course, things like music, nature sounds, whatever you like. I like rain sounds, so I play those a lot sometimes. I like wind chimes. I like ancient Egyptian flutes. I like drums. Whatever you like. Just imagine if you were to create this whole ambiance with the touch, the smells, the sights, the hearing, and this is not even in a sexual way. This is just with just your daily life. Imagine how easy that flow of manifestation will be if you're just in this constant state of relaxation, in this constant state of ease and peace, because you are intentional with your life. You're intentional with how you wake up. You're intentional with how you want to feel on a daily basis. It makes manifestation a lot easier. And you have that power to do so, I always say, if you can create your own heaven, why not do it? And it's much simpler than I think people like to realize, And last but not least, taste. So whatever foods you like, of course, the whole nine. Just embody all of those senses within your daily life. And I really feel like that really opens the door for manifestation to occur so quickly, effortlessly, seamlessly. It's amazing, y'all. It's eye-opening. I really want to hear about you guys' experiences with this. I really do. Like, I always want to hear about you guys' experiences, but with this one in particular, I really want to know. I really want to know how things are looking for y'all and just things you're noticing. I would even journal just to kind of keep track of your process and just watch the evolution of it, just to really get a first-hand experience and really have proof of the power of it once you really start adopting that pleasure principle, right? But it's a sensual awakening journey. Like I said, it's really, doors really open. Manifesting is not hard when you are just in bliss with your existence, I feel like that's what we all should strive to be and to feel and to have, But I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Kim. Please don't hesitate to follow us on Instagram at the Self Love Witch Podcast. Don't hesitate to reach out. Please vote on the polls. I really love to hear you guys' experiences. I like to see you guys' responses. And I hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday. And once again, Happy New Year. And the new moon did pass. Happy new moon. And let's get these manifestations popping, y'all. Let's get this sensuality working in the works, working for us forever, always and always. Let's use this for our benefits, y'all. Let's really tap in. But thanks again for tuning in, y'all. And I hope you guys have a beautiful day. Until next time.